As tradition here, we'll begin with news-making headlines on the ABS website, and we have quite a lot to actually delve into this morning. And first on the list there, we have an Abga chieftain, Chief Ezenwoke, calls on Ndi Igbo, whose businesses are scattered in different parts of the country and want to bring part of their investment. So also, Obi Nwosu of Oka community advocates for the establishment of blacksmith village in Oka to save the blacksmith industry, which Oka is known for, from going into extinction. Governor Soludo calls on international organizations to assist Anambra in tackling challenges of flood disaster. Anambra State government clears 14 companies for mining activities. CMDS demands salary increment, better working conditions. NIPOST calls for the use of national addressing system to combat crime across the country. Postmaster General of Nigeria, Adeyemi, asked police to track criminals using such measures. Two-Face Idibia to his fans: nobody hacked my account. Injured Chukwueze of Super Eagles returns to training, fighting with rebels in Eastern DRC Congo. Leaves 6 UN peacekeepers dead. And last but not the least, protesters in Greece demand justice for victims of railway disaster. Wow, quite a lot to...
Yeah, fully loaded this morning.
Yeah.
We are fully loaded with a lot of stories, even when some of them are repeating each other. Okay, I don't know where to even start. Okay, but I like the second story about the trying to keep track with what we are known for, which is blacksmithing. From Oka people, because it does appear that it's going into extinction, but there are still pockets of activities around it. Yes, because a whole lot of things like the what they call the hose that we use in farming, knives, but these things, it does appear that the technology, the new technology in farming is taking over these things, but we still have to maintain who we are. What do you say?
Of course, it's very, very important. I remember there was a documentary I watched some time ago about the more than 500-year history of the samurai sword in Japan. They call it the katana, you understand? This is a tradition of act that has been passed over generation to generation. And if you see, in fact, they said it takes like 6 months to make one samurai sword.
Really?
One samurai sword, it takes like 6 months.
Oh, it should be.
But when that sword comes out and they tell you that this thing is $20,000, you know what you're paying for. You know, Japanese, they have one of the best steel, like your knife, your cutlery, most of them. So there's this process that the Japanese tradition, they've not lost track of. In fact, they have some, there's a way they collect some of these relics and then, make it more like a museum where people, younger generation, go to watch and see how these things are being done. So a thing like this in Oka would definitely. And not just having a village, a blacksmith village to boost the industry, but equally teach it in schools too. Let it be part of the, what would I call, what do they call this integrated science, craft that they have in primary and secondary school. This will go a long way.
Yeah, definitely. Governor Soludo calls on international organizations to assist Anambra in tackling challenges of flood disaster. Is another story that we'll have here. And I know that it's been that way. They usually come in maybe as to help, but what we need, like we've always said, is a situation whereby we nip these things from the bud. What is it that caused these disasters? What do we do to avert it?
Exactly.
Abby, not just coming in with aids to help those that were involved, but this has always been the system. I don't know why it's that way, but then we move on.
This is interesting anyway to me. Two-Face Idibia to his fans, nobody hacked my account. Nobody hacked my account. Could it be a case of no smoke without fire, or are we just because I think for some hours now we've been hearing the issue of breakup between him and the wife. So probably people are thinking that maybe his account was hacked, and then that was how the news got out to his fans and everyone out there. But then
he has come out to say that nobody hacked his account.
We get to know what the actual story actually, really is.
Damage control or whatever.
Yeah.
It's okay. Join us this morning is Samuel Ololo. Samuel Ololo is a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning. Good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
And good to be here. Good morning, Anambra.
Okay. Welcome. Have you Happy New Year to me?
Of course.
Okay. Okay, yes, let's also look at this story coming from, I think we'll have to join the two stories. NIPO's calls for the use of national addressing system to combat crime across the country. And then Postmaster General of Nigeria, Odeyemi, asked police to track criminals with national addressing system. These things have been there, and some people have been calling, saying that if we are sincere in fighting criminality and insurgency, there are so many ways through which you track these people. After all, they kidnap people and they call their families to bring money, ransoms, and a whole lot of things. There are a whole lot of things you do to track them. Why are we shying away from the main system? Main ways of tackling criminality?
For me, I think what the NIPOS, that's the Postmaster General, is saying is actually in order. But we want to see practice. First of all, in America, their mailing system is heavily subsidized and funded by the government. And that is why movement of mail and by mail, both letter, both parcel, and a lot of other of its kind are really checkmated, unlike in Nigeria. I think one thing that Nigeria really needs to do to get its act in order is for the government to come up and assume their responsibilities and not shying away from it. They have shied away from their responsibilities way too long. Construct road or repair road, no. The citizens will be the ones that will begin to do palliatives. Give light, no. The citizens will be the ones that will buy generator and all this like. Now, if we have a government, if we have a government that is interested in the affairs of itself, what the NIPOS is calling for is actually in order.
But is the NIPOS functional?
Yeah, they are very functional.
So the question now is, how aware are the citizens about their operations? Is there awareness there? Is sensitization there? Do they even make the citizens see the need to patronize them? Because we don't see any reason why this should happen, and that is why we resort to our own method as usual, as citizens providing those services ourselves through other means. But if NIPOS was functioning effectively, it becomes a central system of passing of this mail, and they can checkmate a lot of things.
So who will make NIPOS function effectively?
So
is it NIPOS or the government?
It's the government, but NIPOS is leading the government, it's not an arm of government. So, but what we are saying now is, what is the budgetary allocation going to them? Have they even sat down to say, for us to perform optimally in the area of awareness, in the area of effective delivery of services this time around, if there are mail to be delivered, if we tell you that it's going to stay for 2 days, it's going to stay for 2 days, from Abuja to, what is it called, to Lagos. Even Chidoka, the then former Minister of Aviation, sometime last year, commented that a message he sent from Anambra State to Abuja arrived at Abuja after 6 months. If you go to his social media,
that was why I asked that question. Is it NIPOS functional?
So the fact that it got there after 6 months, which is functional. But what we're talking about now is how efficient
it should be.
And then the effectiveness that the citizens will say, if I want this to live here today, I'm sure that after 24 hours or 72 hours, it will get to where it should get to. And then we trust the system. That it becomes a checking mechanism for people sending mail. Sometimes I can even send a mail. Some dubious people send, what is it called? Marijuana, cocaine through parcel, and it passes through the police because it is being wrapped, and then they just get away with it, and crime continues to fester.
It's horrible. Let's look at this now. Okay.
But still on this NIPOS issue, you're talking about the effectiveness. I remember when we were younger, still trying to get admission into university, We bought our jam forms from Nine Post. You understand? That's when you go, you buy your jam forms. You understand? The post office.
And your slips.
You understand?
And you collect your slips from there.
And when you write and they want to send you whatever, it's still your PMB box. They'll send it. So probably maybe this jam issue could be another way to, bring it up, because you're not going to school on your own. You're going to school through your parents. So your parents' address and the rest of it.
Everybody has gone email.
They're sending us back to...
Yeah, we have all gone digital. So they now send it to your email.
The operations of NIPOS have been overtaken by technology.
Yes.
So what NIPOS should do is to catch up with it and then make the citizens understand that in catching up with technology and the trend, this is what we are doing now. We are going to serve you better, trust us, and we are going to give effective delivery.
Well,
just what they need to do.
Let's hope for that.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's look at the number one story before we get to the newspapers. Anambra chieftain Chief Ezemoke calls on Ndibo, whose businesses are scattered in different parts of the country and world, to bring part of their investment home. Think home philosophy. Akuluno, we have named it so many, given it so many names.
Yeah.
Let's see how we can just tap on this, before we go.
So in talking about this, I think it's important that we know, well, it's good that a lot of stakeholders are beginning to add their voices to making Ndibo see the need to bring back their investments, some of it, to the southeast, to their homeland. We admire the Nnewi for that wonderful, an average Nnewi business industrialist has his business in Nnewi.
Domiciled.
But while that is going on, I think one thing that the government needs to do is quickly tackle the issue of security. While they are tackling the issue of security, they must also tackle the issue of ease of doing business. By ease of doing business, we're also looking at land transaction. I, for one, I bought the land for a friend in Anambra. For 2 years now, we are still battling to take ownership of that land. I want to imagine how this guy would have the mind to further invest in the state. Just not that we not do what we're supposed to do. So I think the government really need to come into land administration, CFO, and everything concerning land. We don't see ourselves going through the crude means to get back the land. And as it is now, we are afraid of losing that land. And a lot of persons have also given their own experiences concerning this issue. So these are burning issues. So beyond telling people Akuluno, I think these germane concerns should be addressed. Above all, the narrative must also be made positive. Yeah, we understand insecurities are there, we understand some of these challenges, but we still need to come down home, tackle it head on for some of these things to actually be solved. So it's good that we are now saying that Igbo businesses outside Southeast, outside Igbo land should come back home and invest in. And I think it's in order actually, because if you are running the best of services health-wise outside Igbo land, your people would also stand a chance of benefiting from those effective health care delivery services. If it is in food, security, whatever it is, even if it's in education, let your people have that opportunity to also benefit and tap from it. Okay. Of course, it would also yield, it would also cause an increased job employment in Igbo land.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah,
quickly, let's go to the first paper for review this morning, and we're starting with the Daily Times. And the banner headline is screaming, APC woos Governor Mutpwang to join party. And we also have there, passengers worry over Max Air's inefficiencies, violation of NCAA codes. Akwa Ibom State Government announces extended verification for 8,924 public servants, while federal government plans to decentralize NCAT Zaria, that's coming from Keyamo. Investors gained 794 billion naira as market rebounds with 1.22 W there. We have accolades pour in for Wike over issuance of 1,000 C of O's to River Park Estate House owners. Wow. Encomiums indeed, accolades. That's good. At least for Wiki, let's take the next paper, which is the Vanguard, so we do both at the same time. FX spending on foreign education, health defy naira depreciation. That's the banner headline. and the rider says rises by 26% to $2.3 billion in 9 months. Army commander, 21 soldiers killed in Borno terrorist attack. 70 insurgents killed, DHQ. Brazil slams US after dozens of deportees arrived handcuffed. 25 dead as explosion hit mining site in Niger State. We have World Cup fever, that's sports. Ex-international express fears. And then at the mask, Zenith Bank raises over 350 billion naira in rights issue public offer. Lagos Assembly crisis. GAC members divided over Obasanjo's impeachment. And then we have Tinubu, Bauchi governor, foreign minister Bika. Kogi born prince who breeds philanthropy, Asiwaju Prince Olatunji Olusoji. That's probably an editorial there for those that are going to be finding that story interesting. Quickly, the banner headline, Daily Times, APC woos Governor Mutfwang to join party. I think we are inching close to a one-party system in this country.
Wooing the governor, I don't think every party will want to remain in power, and they will do what they need to do to see what they can, how the strategies they can adopt to actually have the upper hand. It's not APC I blame. It's not even the governor Mutfwang that I also blame. It's the supposed opposition party that we blame. Why I'm using that word supposed? Now, as it sounds, we don't even know the party that we should say
who is opposing who?
The opposing party. We don't know if it's PDP, we don't know if it's the Labour Party, but these are the two frontliners. So they are also filled with different issues amongst them internally, court cases, party members against party members. So they're not even strong enough to even challenge APC. And APC is capitalizing on that, gradually picking other government actors from the other political parties and getting them to their own side. But this is survival, and it's bound to happen. It's also politics. But my interest is in the midst of all these, what is the place of an average citizen? Why they are playing their politics? It's unfortunate that Nigeria is one of the countries where, starting from the beginning of the electoral season, all through to when the vote is counted and the leader emerges, when that leader begins to make his appointments, they are looking at the next election. Even when they are supposed to be talking of administration, governance, for the effective, for the good,
for the effective flow of their manifesto, even
to even have a bragging right that their manifestos that they brought. Okay, look at US and Trump. Virtually all what he promised during the campaign season, he's just taking off the bus one by one. He's taking off the bus one by one. So whether the American people are for it or not, he said them and they voted him in. So invariably, majority, in quote, wants those things to be implemented. And they are seeing how he's doing them. I think this is a point for us to learn. And not everything about politics, everything about partisanship, that is just all what we know. It's now being rubbed off in our faces. And that is why an average Nigerian, okay, you're talking about FS now, even healthcare, the doctors have complained that many of them have, in quotes, japa, if that is a logical word.
No, it is now absorbed into Oxford Dictionary.
And then this is just an effect of the kind of politics we play. Politics of, if I give this position to this person, I'm sure that I will have a face, a better chance for the next election. So because of that, you give it to the person. If I give it to this person, I'm paying off my debt for people who supported me. That is just all the kind of politics we do. Don't look at people who have, the time of Obasanjo, look at the people that will produce. And I don't will still hear their name currently in the world. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Obi Ezekwesili, Adesina and all those people. Many of them,
Soludo.
we hear and Soludo, these were the people best brain. Some of them outside the country, they had to bring them in, and we at least had where we were going to them. But now we are looking off instead of the political parties to stand their ground and oppose some of these anti-citizens policies. We are talking about VAT that keeps increasing left, right, and center, communication VAT, this VAT, and a lot of things. And amidst it all,
Punishment of the citizens.
amidst it all, what is it called? Salaries that should come to civil servants, minimum wage, has been approved, but states are choosing the amount to implement. So are paying less than what was actually, and we are just okay with it.
They were just doing little increments. That was not about.
This is actually an eyesore, and this is why if Mutan, that's the person that is being ruled by APC, leaves to opposition party or leaves PDP and then goes to APC, I mean, they're all birds of the same feather. There is no clear sign to say we are standing for this and then we are standing against this. Nothing. So they are all just interested in their
Nothing. No political ideology. That just playing retrogressive politics.
Do you have anything to add, IG?
About what?
The same paper as the Daily Times.
No, I had actually wanted to see this story where you see Obasanjo and Buhari shaking hands and smiling in London, and the caption says former presidents Buhari and Obasanjo in Paris, where they testified in the $6 billion Mambila power contract deal. What exactly is going on in Paris?
Okay, so I know during the Mambila, this austere politics and then misplaced priority. Of course, Nigeria signed power project, and at a point they had to stop it. So the company, I can't remember their name now, that actually signed that contract sued the country, and this happened a part of Buhari's time and then affected during Tinubu's time. So government is always a continuum. For Obasanjo and Buhari to be smiling and shaking hands, even good luck Jonathan, that they called all manner of unputable names, if he was still there, he would still smile at them and shake hands with all of them. So I think that is where we must really understand that there is a clear difference between these people, politicians, and we the citizens. Well, averagely, we are not expecting them when they begin to exchange blows. We are not expecting them to begin to act childishly by not beating each other. There are things recovering elder statesmen. That is what they have done. Regardless of that, what we are looking at now is what is the issue that has brought them there. It's still this power. And that is why we are having epileptic power supply. How much?
6 billion is huge.
Do you know
much money that has been invested in power?
Do you know how much that has been invested in power from Obasanjo's time down to Goodluck, from Goodluck to Buhari, plus the different kinds of programs that they have run? I think that should even
where did the money go?
That should even be our interest. And African Nigeria should even be interested to even see and listen, and we are also telling the media to even investigate the testimony they give and bring it down to us. Let us analyze and see how we can make sense out of all this, I call it madness, because we cannot continue to borrow money, invest in this area that is
over the years.
The annoying thing is that what I pay for electricity now is nothing compared to what we used to pay, and yet $6 billion is unaccounted.
Has been sunk into power.
This is not even just $6 billion. This is the one
that was the one that tilting now.
There are a lot that have been spent.
A lot that has been
and
spent. And
Nigerians are paying through their nose to get this power.
Is that overtaxation we are talking about?
They will budget the money, consume the money, and then come back to us to pay for what they consumed.
So these are the issues. So I think that is really where we can also begin to gather momentum towards. While we are dealing with INEC and requesting INEC to be accountable to their system and operations, we also think this time around the power sector have so much be unbundled. We were thinking it's unbundling so that things can flow. We have NEC, we have TCN, we have the
Discos.
discos, a lot of things, but yet things are not still working. And then this discos is still another fault that we don't know. I mean, we are meant to believe that it is now a private-owned business. Yet, a huge amount of money from the state budget is still being budgeted into it. They are spent, and we are still made to pay out for our noses. If you start a business now, you are still running, you are buying fuel to run your business.
Last night, I couldn't sleep because everybody in the area was just, on their gen that ended this morning. So, and you keep wondering, what kind of life is this? You wouldn't even have peace in the night to sleep because there's no power supply.
What is the essence of leadership? I mean,
it's
if
horrible.
You have dynamic leaders that attend to issues as they come up. So is it security issues as it is coming up? You know how, because
that's nothing we have handled and say that this one has been settled.
And address those issues.
In your own opinion, Samuel, what do you think can be done in order to take care of this light issue once and for all?
So we believe that there are what we would call those stakeholders, the big boys. Unfortunately, I'm using this word, and they have so penetrated the system. Typical example, when the federal government was talking about migrating from PHCN, Power Holding Company of Nigeria, to AEDC, that was another policy shift. What they could have done was to look for the people who are experts to sell off those assets to. But no, what did they do? Still their cronies. Some of them had to set up business through escrow account and other extended family members or whatever, and then send those people to come and purchase this thing. So let the government become more sincere.
Okay.
If they become sincere, people, of course, these are contracts. You give people the mandate that they must provide energy to the citizens, because that is why you are there. And when they are not meeting up, you take your license from them and give it to another person that is still there.
If only you are meeting up.
Since things are not moving well, and those same persons are still in charge, still operating without license, it shows that the government is also complicit. So if they want things to work well, give these people a minimum, a period of time, of which if they don't meet up, it then shows they don't have the capacity to settle the problems we have in the power sector, and then give it to new people. Also, even if the Minister of Power is not performing, sack him.
Okay.
Lay him off and get a new hand.
Okay, for want of time, let's continue with that discussion some other time and look at the rest of the story. I think we're going to roll all of them and then see where we can make sense out of the stories there. Daily Independent is testing a shot this morning. Federal government must prioritize inflation, weak purchasing power. This is coming from NESG, with a rider there provides roadmap for achieving macroeconomic stability. Down here, 16 years after, second Abuja airport runway remains contentious. With some riders there, CCECC cost 532 billion naira runway contract sum by over 50%. And then experts weigh in on desirability or otherwise of runways. Any other story of interest? The Enugu tanker explosion, one incident too many. Tinubu laments. And where is he? Okay, FRSA confirms 18 people dead, while some other reports say 25. SERAP asked court to stop implementation of 50% telecom tariff act. Are they going to listen to them? Federal government reaffirms commitment to eliminate malaria from Nigeria. The next paper this morning is Guardian newspaper, banner headline, recapitalization, 7 banks raised 1.3 trillion naira as others shun public offers over rules and cost. Okay, and then this Guardian is usually very busy. Let's move to the next paper. Daily Trust, Boko Haram kills 22 soldiers, many CJTF. With a rider, we neutralized over 70 terrorists. This is coming from military. Sure, how 20 perished in Enugu tanker fire. And then a $6 billion Mambila project. Federal government, Sunrise Power, awaits Paris court verdict. I would like to hear it too. Why Sharia panels are generating controversy in Southwest. is another story coming from here. But the last story here said 3 killed, many injured as explosion rocks Niger mining site. Explosions here and there. Now suicide mission. Okay, Nigerian Tribune is the next. The second Abuja runway project. Opera Trust contractors alleged demand for 532 billion naira.
Is that to build a city?
I don't know. And then the writers there say stakeholders asked NAS to unveil faces behind it, and then astronomical increase from 90 billion to 532 billion. This country sounds like a big joke. Okay, 29 pan-Yoruba groups reject introduction of Sharia in Yoruba land. I think this story is becoming very interesting. Housing shortage worsens as rental values skyrocket in Lagos. Who says it's only Lagos and Abuja? What of Waka? There's no house here. If you get one, you pay through your nose. 1 dead, 6 injured in dynamite explosion in Niger. Enugu petrol tanker explosion death. We have seen that story. The last paper this morning is the blueprint. Northern Coalition last feast as troops kill 70 terrorists. We've seen that story. Any other stories? Serap urges cuts to stop 50% telecom tariff hike. And down here, over 350 billion raised in Zenith Bank's combined rights issue and public offers. Okay, that's all. That's all we're taking this morning. AJ, which of the stories are we going to look at before we start packing?
Well, there is this one on that blueprint there, talking about Abuja Municipal Council, Michael Angu Louds Wike for commissioning Sabaru 1 and 2 road projects. Sincerely speaking, this is a clear case of sycophancy. A man is given a job to do and is commissioning a road, and you guys are making it banner headline on newspaper for doing your job. It's just like telling someone that pays the children's school fees and then you go on the internet and be announcing it. Is that not your responsibility, for Christ's sake? I think it's that time we stopped all this praise singing and allow these politicians own up to the responsibilities that Nigerians have bestowed upon them. I don't like saying things like this.
It's horrible.
Very, very annoying.
Any other story of interest?
Yeah, so no, this is just still interesting for me.
Okay.
And I'll try to use it to wrap up a lot of conversations going on. I think this is part of our greatest undoing, sycophancy, praise singing, where a governor comes on board, you begin to sing all over and over the projects he did at the beginning of his program, of his administration. You keep singing it, whereas people are suffering. And the people listening to it are saying, wait a minute, the road to my street, from my street, has not been repaired. And here you are praising the governor that he has repaired all the road just because of one major road that he repaired. Well, it's unfortunate that these things, it shows the kind of society that we are in. And if you go to my tweet yesterday, there is something I said. Nigeria, unfortunately, has been left behind. What do I mean? And just yesterday, there's a strong contention going on between China and America. America has this chat GTP, while China has come up with DeepSeek, another AI. And DeepSeek was launched on Friday by Chinese, local. This one is not even, they brought them in, Chinese citizens. Just Friday, they now have more downloads from Apple Store than even the ChatGPT. And people are now contesting which one is better between ChatGPT and what have you. And here we are, still praising governor or minister
for doing road.
That is what our own conversation
or paying salaries.
Or saying that they're paying salaries. And then in the tweet I said, please wait for Nigeria. People should not leave us away. Please, we are still trying to solve our problems.
Existential problems.
Our
basic problem.
Tribal, trivial issues. That was the way I put it. And the world all over, you see people going towards technology and health. You see people going towards education, of course. You see their curriculum. Well, we are happy now that Nigeria have talked about updating the curriculum. But even in updating this curriculum, we are still questioning what is the morale of the teachers to teach these children through this curriculum. And how effective would the implementation of this curriculum be? And that is why I think our government will just need to please listen to the cries of the citizens.
Very
They should stop listening to their praise singers. Their praise singers are not helping matters.
Okay. The issue, if you were a governor and people are praise singing you, wouldn't you know that you've actually not done enough to merit or warrant this praise? As in, first and foremost, speak of you.
You wanted to ask you to stop singing?
To me, it makes no sense.
Do you know the funny thing, sir?
It makes no sense.
It will shock you that some governors even employ praise singers. Some kind of example, I know our former governor, what is it? Apokodike. Of course, he had somebody that once he becomes that man that sings. So it's still part of whatever they do. He has people before he comes on board.
That one is hyping now to bring up his morale. But we are looking at a situation whereby you come out and start telling people that the governor did this when he didn't do it, or the governor did what he's supposed to do.
That's my argument. That's my argument. This is not philanthropy.
The money you paid. And
this is not philanthropy. This is what you campaign to come and do. You did elections.
All of us will say, okay, let this person represent us.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
And you put street light. You come and tell us that you put street light. These are your basic jobs now. Just like you're talking about GTP and DeepSeek and the rest of it all. While the world, America and the rest of it all, mind you, Nigeria is the most populous nation in Africa and number one
indigenous.
Exactly. You understand? Now, in Tribune, you're seeing 29 pan-Yoruba groups reject introduction of Sharia. Look at the age we are. People are still talking about Sharia. And look at the level where we are.
That is our society.
The level we are oppressing. I actually wanted to look at that story and the danger it portrays, because I don't know where they're coming from this place. So before we come on board, I was chatting with AJ and we're looking at the population of Muslims in Yoruba. Are they enough to impose Sharia on Yoruba land?
So, well, it depends on what is it
or
called?
Are they trying to leverage on the Muslim exactly. ticket something?
So we have the Muslim ticket, and unfortunately we don't know the bargains that went on board or undercurrent to really get the support of that Muslim ticket. We don't know. That is one. And then another thing that is coming up strongly is it's unfortunate that now that we are talking about the world going forward, here we are still talking about Sharia and then its implementation. I remember when Sharia conversation started under
Obasanjo
and where it is. So, unfortunately, if not for the fact that if you say it's none of your business, it will eventually catch up with you.
Definitely.
That's why we are interested in this. Because if Sharia comes into Yoruba land, we know what Sharia is doing in the north, where we are not against anybody's religion. They are free to practice it. But some people claim that it is selective. It is only for Muslims. Yes. But you know that both Muslims and non-Muslims face the brunt of Sharia. And if you are supposed not to drink and they catch you drinking, they will not even ask you if you are a Muslim or not. They do whatever they want to do to you. And this so-called Sharia, in quotes, has also been selective. He says if you steal, they will cut off your hand. How many wealthy politicians, how many wealthy men have you seen the Sharia?
Let's just hold it. Let's just hold it there because we have completely run out of time, please. Maybe we'll continue this discussion tomorrow to find out exactly how we are going to rejig this nation to have the best out of what we had wanted to talk about, the hike, what Serap is saying and what NLC is saying about the 50%, but then we don't have the time. Maybe we'll do that some other time. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Samuel Ologo.
Well, thank you so much. Well, the show continues on the other side where we have our discussion segment. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.